Hello everybody, it's Aaron. Welcome to a mini spotlight on Ender IO. A couple of people expressed interest in seeing something like this, so I figured I'd run through it real quick and hopefully I don't leave anything out. I really like Ender IO. I use it a lot in my worlds and it came in really handy when thermal expansion was still updating for 1.6. So I guess we'll just go with what I've already got set up here. I'm just using magmatics and a creative tank for convenience. But we have a dimensional transceiver, which is basically like an energy tesseract. You can set your frequency, public or private, and this one is receiving from over there. At the present time, I believe they only send energy, but there may have been an update. I'm not really sure. I'm not using the most up-to-date version of the mod. Next we've got the capacitor bank, which actually should be receiving energy right now, but I probably messed it up. I do that, or my engines ran out of power. Either way. Here's why it's not charging is because I put the capacitor upgrades in each of the three machines. Regardless, this is like a battery. And if you put them together, they'll make a multi-block. So I can make any shape I want. It'll act like a multi-block. And when you put them together, they actually share power. You see now it's 1,150,000. If I knock one out, it goes down to 1,000,000. And it also decreases the output. Each one will output 100 MJ per tick. But if you put them together, they will output more than that. And we can check that with the MJ reader. There we go, 21.2 MJ. So we've got three machines in Ender IO. We've got the sag mill, which is the equivalent of the pulverizer. We've got the alloy smelter, which is basically just a furnace. Three modes. You've got all smelting, which means regular items and alloys specific to the mod. Here they are. Or you can switch the mode to alloys only or furnace only. If you're doing alloys manually, I like to leave it on alloy mode because if you put something in, it might start cooking it before you put the rest of the stuff in. And early game, you may not have the resources to waste. So we've got three types of energy conduit. You can see here. Each has a max output. And there's a fluid conduit as well as a redstone conduit. So the cool thing about these conduits is I can put them in the same block space. See, they just kind of piggyback on each other. If I get some energy conduit, I can do the same thing. So that is really cool. I can also, the conduit is connecting right now. You can set the fluid type for your conduit. So let's say I want to put lava in one of these. I get a lava container. And if I right click on the conduit, you see it turned orange. So now this conduit is not going to connect, and that conduit will only send lava through it. Another favorite item of mine is the reservoir. Which you saw in my latest Let's Play episode. The reservoir is a 2x2. It has a little water drop on it because it holds water, as most reservoirs do. So if you put 2 buckets of water in here, it's going to fill the rest of the way up. If you right click it with your wrench, you see the little up arrow. It's going to auto output. And you don't have to auto output. You can manually output with a redstone signal. This Yetta wrench is the Ender IO wrench, by the way. It is interchangeable with the thermal expansion crescent hammer from what I can tell. So if you right click the conduit, the arrow will change directions or disconnect. So what we want to do is we can give this thing, if I can get the thing to connect again, we can give the thing a redstone signal to output, kind of like the old Liquidux. There it goes. Or Ender IO has a neat little thing Where is it? I hope it's still in here. Not the light node. It was a little redstone switch that you could conduit switch. There it is. What this conduit switch does, you put it down. Notice there's a little, that's kind of like a little wheel that spins around. If you right click, it doesn't actually spin, but you can see now that it is lit because it's giving a redstone signal. Now it's not. And it works on this conduit for the fluids as well as the conduit for the redstone. So apparently now that wants to be lava. Probably because that connection is made. Let me redo this. Creative mode messes me up sometimes. Alright. So let's put our conduit switch back on there. If we hit it, the pipe is not set to output via a direction, but once we put the little arrow on it, then there we go. And once again, it's only one block space. So there's the conduit. A cool thing you can do with conduit, you can make a facade. If you take the painting machine, you put your facades here. I just picked end stone. We put end stone right there. It's going to paint the facades to look like whatever we put in there. And then you just right click the facade with it, and now it just looks like end stone. Or right click the conduit with it, sorry. Now you want to know, well, where did my conduit go? If you hold the wrench, you can see a wireframe of the facade so that you can see what conduit is inside it. What else have we got? We've got, unfortunately, the power options are fairly limited for this mod. We've got the Stirling generator, which is 1 MJ a tick. It burns coal or whatever. I'm pretty sure you can put the upgrades in it. Yes, you can. The upgrades just increase energy storage. There are two of them. Use the octadic capacitor and the double layer capacitor. If we look at this, right now we can store 20,000 MJ in here. This one will store 100, and by default it's 10. And it is the same with all of the machines over here. You cannot put the upgrades in the capacitor banks. You actually have to make more of them. So as I was saying, this makes 1 MJ a tick. There is a photovoltaic cell, which is basically an MJ solar panel, which also makes 1 MJ a tick. Unfortunately, I don't think it works with like a forge multi-part thing. It sits on top like that. But really not that big of a deal since you can put facades on your conduits. So, I mean, these are kind of handy, but 1 MJ a tick, I mean, it's really not going to get you very far. Probably the coolest thing about this mod is the actual Ender IO itself. Let's clear some of this stuff out of here. The Ender IO is something that lets you control machines and stuff from far away. And I'm looking for the other end of it. So if we put this guy right, let's put it right here, and right click him. Now if I come over here and right click, I can see the machines around the Ender IO. And if I right click one of them, See, I'm interfacing with the sag mill right now. And if I do it again, I can interface with the painting machine. There we go. And I can even interface with the capacitors. Unfortunately, this did not work with the interfaces from Applied Energistics, and when I tried it, they may or may not work. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not using the most current mod pack. Here's a power monitor. It tells you what's going through your pipes, what's connected to it. Capacitor bank storage. I don't know why that keeps resetting. Maybe because I'm in creative mode. I don't know. But it gives you a lot of information. You can emit a redstone signal, turn engines on or off, which I actually did not know. That's good. I'm going to start using this in my world. And what else have we got? Everything else is basically a component of other things. So, you know, you've got your basic gear, which you use to make things, your machine chassis, which is kind of like the frame from thermal expansion. You've got your alloys. You make them in the alloy smelter. This is how you make electrical steel, your energetic alloy, phased alloy, redstone alloy, and conductive iron. And all of these are parts of the other things. So you've got your redstone conduit, you've got insulated redstone conduit, fairly self-explanatory. You got a powered light, which is pretty cool. Really doesn't do you any good unless you have some power. I think these things reset again. I have had a problem with these resetting when I was playing Resonant Rise way back when. Let's see if we're filling up yet. A little bit. So if we pop the light on there, you can see it's very small. Let's make it midnight. And there's our little light. I don't know that it was actually doing anything. I can't tell if it's lit up or not. Maybe we have to give it a redstone signal. Let's try it. I haven't used these yet. I haven't had a need for them. Do we still have a conduit switch? No, we don't. Yep, there we go. Does take a redstone signal. But you can easily hook it up to a daylight sensor or something, and since you have to run the conduit to it anyway, it's no big deal to run your redstone, either your insulated or your enhanced, not enhanced energy conduit, or your regular redstone conduit. You can run it along with, you know, your energy conduit and power the lights from whatever. And I think that's about it. We have a couple other blocks. You can paint your fences, gates, stairs, etc. That's mostly decorative. I believe it works the same way as the facades. Indeed it does. So there are the basics of Ender IO. I was shooting for 10 minutes or less. I missed that mark, but I'm going to make it under 15. The fused quartz is a recipe, but it also looks kind of like the Tinker's Clear glass, except it has a black border. So you may or may not find something to do with that in your base. I don't know. So I think that'll do it for this little mini spotlight. I'm about ready to do another Let's Play episode. I'll probably get that up in the next day or two. Thanks for your input, guys, and thanks for watching. As usual, questions, comments, etc., please leave them down below. I'll see you guys next time.